we are back. Part 2 of this manifesting session. So we ended with the feet, right? The feet care. Wonderful. And you know, when I was reminded when I was stressed out from my guys to do that, like to start each day with feet bathing, really, totally, and to kind of become the 9 of Pentacles energy, become this person who has leisure time and wealth all around it. Basically what we were describing here, you know, this totally immersing with these sensations of feeling well. I got that while I was 111 right now, while I was in a super heavy, stressful situation. Literally, my apartment broke apart and I had to move. So there was a super huge defect in the bathroom, actually a lot of water, and I had to move. And I had to find something like now. And I was in very, very bad conditions health-wise back then, and it was really a heavy task, because usually you have to, of course, put something on the table if you want a new apartment. Like, I'm this, I'm that. And I only had like, I'm nothing, I'm in need, right? I need to move. That was all I had to put on the table. And so I needed to manifest that, totally. And I did. And it worked out perfectly. But to do that, I had to be kept. I mean, I had to keep myself. That was, so my guides really, they came through and they said, okay, so the only thing you have to do is, of course, act, you know, act on the task, which means doing all the telephone calls and looking for apartments, right? That's kind of unavoidable. The apartments can't really move in and get you out there. But elsewise, they just said, keep your energy up and cloak yourself in this super bubble of well-being, which was ridiculous, because, you know, my bathroom, which is usually the place where we do the self-care, it wasn't there anymore. It was a workshop. It was totally, you know, there was everything lying around, and workers would pass through, you know. So yeah, but I took a bowl in my again. Wow. I took a bowl in my living room and I created a space, and I even felt, wow, now I'm feeling like in another timeline, 1800 or whatever, you know, where we didn't have these water. I mean, where we had these in each room. A room was like a personal room where also we had this water and the dressing stuff and all that. And yeah, and it was even, in a sense, an improvement, though it was, of course, a catastrophe. But having all what I needed for myself, for my well-being, right around me, that literally created a space of peace, believe it or not. Though the rest of my apartment was a tower moment, right? A total tower in motion there. But I needed to move and leave there, yes. So, because that was quite a toxic environment, right? So, yeah. But I actually don't feel that the people here resonating with this reading are needing to move. But on the contrary, I feel most have already moved, because I'm totally drawn to this peaceful golden ground here, and how, you know, the fur's really stretching itself, and really it's all good, right? And also I have moved. So I'm sitting safe now. And also, I mentioned we will go into tarot, and this deck kind of started immediately telling a story. See, we do have the 8 of Pentacles right here with the keyword attainment. And then I got the purse out. So it is really, I feel, about attaining goals. And I feel totally work related, really. And here we see progress underneath. So that's what we are manifesting. And 3 of Pentacles, that's co-creating. And here we see the Knight of Swords, which is really, he wants to be shown. Aha, I understand why. Motivation, and it's violet. Ha. And guess what? A card fall to the floor overnight, right in front of the reading, made itself known, and it says, the key is violet for psychic and spiritual development. So I love that. It goes totally with that. And I saw immediately the violet here and also here in the crown. And of course, it's all about the downloads and this development. So now we do have the need to go in this bubble with feeling well, you know, and well-being. And I said we can translate fehu into wealth, right? Well-being and wealth. That's kind of the same, right? And it's just with the money thing, it's just, that's what we see when we look from the outside onto wealthy people. We kind of see them having the currency to buy things for their well-being, you know, to create a yeah. I mean, what is wealth anyway, right? It is a constant. It's not about being rich, but wealth, as I said with the cattle here in the original runic translation, it is this stable wealth. I mean, if you live on a farm with that, you know, as we did it back then it's just a stable thing. I mean, the stable is there, right? There is the stable and there is the cattle. And so it's just there. And it's nothing to hunt for anymore. That's the very thing, you know, with cattle back then, I guess 8,000 years ago. But, I mean, time isn't a thing, actually. But the living conditions, this is the thing. So maybe it is about the shift from this, you know, 9-to-5 job for a lot of you into, okay, now I'm home-based, right? Just like I'm doing tarot here, creating my art also at home, all at home. This is my, you know, where I create. And it's about co-creating also with the divine. I'm clearly seeing that here with this window into the all, and there we have the void. So totally, we are drawing it through, we are drawing from the void actually, and we are drawing it through this window. And this window, this golden bubble here, this is actually what you shall do with yourself, you know. Keep yourself in this frame. It's really, we need to create this frame. And they are drawing me again to the sunlight, which there was a specific, wait, where to put that? Just aside. No, just here. No, I don't know. Aside. Okay. There was really a specific wording, which I liked so much. For the sunlight, right? Yellow clear, a vision of splendor. Yes. So when I say you are in the frame, and I also mentioned the 9 of Pentacles, where we see a woman in a garden, in the backyard rather, and there are those walls around, and it's very, you know, stable again. It's a gentle woman, and she has all the time of the world to do her things and to enjoy what she's doing. The whole card is golden yellow. Maybe we get something like that later, but I just see that clearly in my mind right now. And so, yeah, we need to create this golden egg-shaped space, they are saying. Really, you need to keep yourself in this golden egg. And then, yes, violet is the key, right? Here again, a little violet. Also, that wanted to be on the table. And usually I do use a white one. But yeah, and here we go. With, let's keep that here. I'm not sure. Usually cards tell me where they want to be put. So like this one, totally with the violet, came in the center. Makes sense, right? Key is violet. And the key are the downloads. And I was thinking, why aren't you going there? Because that's kind of the spiritual protection area and where we have the downloads. But see, now we are in the middle space. And what I just said, this is the void. We are downloading it directly. And we can only do that in joy. That's the golden bubble, that's the frame. We need to frame, clothe yourself in joy, I'm hearing. So that's beautiful, that's a beautiful dress. And be kind, right? Trust yourself. Good. Now the Knight of Swords has something to say. Six of Cups. See? That's interesting. Six of Cups. Ooh, it wants to go totally here to the Othala, where it's all about our maternal line, having this emotional support. Yes, very beautiful. And he wants to be here. Totally. And the feet literally said they want to go here. Just to stabilize that. See, I mentioned the golden ground here. That's that. That's that, literally. This is, and here we don't see it, right? We only saw the upper side of the egg, because in the picture there's the hand. Ooh, so it is about really forming the circuit. You can do a feet massage even. See? Be kind. And feet are representative for soul. Now we are in. So yeah. And of course, also, they strengthen the ancestral connection. Wow, that makes so much sense right now. And of course, it's also the gateway to Mother Earth, to the ground. And it was funny, by the way, with the violet card, because my candles are nearly empty and I had only 3 colors left. Violet, this dark red, and white. And so we have them. We have the violet here for the higher realms. And here you see, by the way, a correct fejo. They are saying, take it there. Okay. And we do have the dark red here, which is totally about ancestral. And this deep kept love, like roses. Okay, they want that. They want us to have, create this safe space. And also, with the yellow, right? What we had, the joy. That's so important to open up. They are saying, okay, I get it. You know, sun energy, soul velo energy, that's always growth. And in our case, it's literally growing consciousness. Now they are drawing me. There we go. She did it herself. Okay, so yeah, this card, it's totally in the void, totally imagination, totally tuning in, becoming as one with your surroundings and drawing, bringing the ocean through, right? It's absolutely speaking about this creative process. Whew, love that. So now we have something here going on, which I like very much. I want to have the feather here. Remember, that's your spirit guides. They said just hi. Remember, we are there. And they help with the connection. Okay? So you literally, you know how that works, right? You see a sign on the road, maybe it's a feather. And then it's not just about the feather, 444 right now, but it is about the thought you had, the emotion you felt, the motivation you just had. So what were you drawn to? What were you planning about, thinking in your head when you saw the feather, or when you heard the raven crow, or when, you know, this or that sign appeared? And that's just then this clear push. And see, I'm just drawn to how this big cup, I mean, how the cup here underneath is bigger, and it's about this pushing forward energy, like yes, 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 yes. That's just what the feather on the ground is saying. It says yes, 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 yes. We got you. And you are creating from the bigger picture that's already there. So right now that's interesting, because that's again in the ancestral line. And so it's not so much that you are drawing that from heaven, but really it has already been on earth in a way. So you totally can. And here this is interesting, because we have the sword with the water as one. So emotions, which is intuition, and sword, which is inspiration. So intuitive inspiration, or yeah, and that creates imagination, right? We need both. We need the inspiration, like the thought, the idea, and we need the intuition to create. The intuition, that's like the paint, to create, to build, to form the picture. And the idea, it's like, yeah, now I'm painting a swan, right? And then you start painting, and if you haven't the feeling about how a swan would look like, you wouldn't be able to paint that. Or let's say, to stay in alignment with our examples, creating this beautiful bowl, this cup. And it has been created before. And this can be anything, right? Must not be even, of course, a tangible physical thing. But it's something that has already been done. And you have access to that. So it is your own past lives. You as have been incarnated yourself, or it's just parts of your soul, you know, soul family, where you can draw from. It's just if you have a close colleague You work next to someone who maybe is an expert for PCs, for technology. And so whenever you have a little problem with your laptop, you're just like, hey, can you look at that? And he's like, sure. And 1 minute later, it's ready. It's this kind of support because of the proximity, about the closeness, and you have just access to it. But it kind of goes through your intuition and inspiration. So take real good care, they are saying, about what you are drawn to, feeling, what you would like to do, but then you think with the human mind, where you only can see maybe this one cup, what you have already done this lifetime, where you kind of associate yourself with, where you identify your skills, right? But they are saying, no, 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 you have so much more skills. They are all there. And these three are seemingly a little bit in the darker realm here, right? And this is highlighted. So you see maybe these three things, 3 gifts, 3 skills, but there are more that want to move in the spotlight. Oh, this just moved. Over to that side. Okay, we are going. Oh yeah, of course. Osiris and Anubis. This is an Anubis elixir. And you know, Anubis helped Isis, and I always feel Isis energy with this card because that's a super underworld linked session I did there. And so Anubis helped Isis getting all the pieces together, and that's like getting the pieces of soul together. I love that. And you know what? Here's something inside. And it fits. Those both wanted to come out, and I got a message with that. They wanted to be on the table. And see, here are no golden coins in it, but a superpower. And this, I mean, it's rose quartz color. I do have a rose quartz right here, heart-shaped. And so this speaks about unconditional love being your superpower. And that's your greatest wealth. And from that, you can grow. And so that unconditional love, you must put onto yourself first, in a sense. And see, we often see these wellness things as something we allow us to experience after we have done some hard work, right? After we have achieved something. But that's not what you are called to do. You are called to do, to kind of shield yourself with that, hug yourself within that. It's again this eggshell. So this is the fabric that holds your wealth, is unconditional love, they are saying. And we want to put it back in there. But yeah, totally. And see with the hand, it's this caring. Okay, now they are saying read that. So we do that. It says, boundless life. You decide. Discover the unknown. Explore. Okay. That's what we are doing. That's where we are moving in. And with Anubis being here, and this dark feminine aspects card, I was tuning into some Celtic war session things there. So, and I don't know what to say about that right now, so I won't. But it's kind of, let's just say it's underworld energy. Let's keep it simple and focus on Anubis. Yeah. And you know, this great love between Isis and Osiris, I don't know yet what that's about here. But with this, what I just saw, this is in the underworld still, right? And we are getting that out onto earth, in the scene, in the spotlight. That's what they are wanted to tell. And it's really about, what was that about again with the yellow? We need that word. It was a splendor, right? Splendor. A vision of splendor. Yeah, they wanted me to read that. Dissolves lethargy, spiritual irritation, and the feeling of loneliness. Ooh, and now we have here this whole tragic story, you know, with Isis and Osiris being cut into pieces and then lost all over the world. That's this, everything is lost and shattered, and how can we? So, and what we need, that's why the sun comes in, that's also what the spirit guides are bringing in, this vision of splendor. And I mean, here it says boundless life, and it's like, yeah, it's open. It's as if the gates of the underworld are open to be explored, but it's not that we will find shadows there, but on the contrary, we will find lost pieces of our own soul, and we can reconcile and we can rebuild and restructure. I'm hearing, you know, what was before. But it's not only about rebuilding what was before, but it is about creating all those pathways. And forming. This is interesting. This is linked to total loyalty, right? And we have that with this story, of course, with Isis. She just did it, you know. She just did it. Not even, you know, death stopped her from her goals, from what she truly wanted. I mean, wealth, that's also being together, you know, with loved ones, right? Maybe having a family, that's also wealth. But just being in good company, I want to say, and having loyal friends, that's also a part of wealth. It's a happy life. And so this card, it's Echos, and the image you can see as two horses rubbing noses. And, you know, horses are very, very loyal. And for the Vikings especially, they were super important, you know, super important. Like more loyal than humans, of course, because your horse just, it's actually similar to the relationship guys these days have with their cars. And because, you know, it gives you really a lot. See, we don't have to do. It brings you this range, so higher perspective, fast movement, you can achieve more. And the main card was attainment and progress. And what we saw, right, what we was shown. And that's actually what horses do or did, you know, in these timelines. And these days it's cars or whatever. The ability to go where you needed to be. And this can also speak about astral traveling, of course, with, now I'm seeing all these lines and then this being violet, right? And speaking about past lives and underworld and all that. So that's very strong astral realm showing up here. Also, of course, with this direct link, kind of like a tunnel here now, forming into the void, which is underneath here. Interesting. Yeah, but this also is just close unity. And you know, with the runes, we can often see other runes within the picture. And if we just would have one, that would be Lagos. And that's source energy, that's water. You know, a lagoon, water. Again, flowing water, like soul flowing. And here we do have two souls flowing together as one. So that's totally counterpart energy. But just, you know, not specifically romantic or whatever, but just flowing as one in one purpose. It's this building together. And the Three of Pentacles also peeked through, right? So it's totally about forming. Yeah, I really see like two rivers fueling the same riverbed and then streaming into the ocean. And and then, of course, the water moves faster. Of course. Because the more water is in the stream, the faster it goes. As taking my life as an example, that would be, you know, more people in the stream, putting their energy in the stream, reading for more people, and then it would push, literally, it would float faster through the algorithm, right? So that's that. And by the way, thank you very much for being here, liking and subscribing, because that really helps, totally. That's energetic. Ooh, see, that opens gates for the water to flow into my realm. And I mean, it costs you nothing, right? It's just this mutual respect and support and acknowledgement and whatever. It's just an important, I feel it's also, by the way, pushing us, ourselves, in a good direction always, if we really take these moments. And I realized that for myself, specifically on YouTube, that because it's just streaming through, right? And we can easily forget to value that, because it's just there, just like the sun. It's just there. We are not saying thank you, sunshine, for being here again today. But maybe we should, right? Maybe we should. It's a great, great, great practice of gratitude. And most spiritual techniques have a ritual about greeting the sun, for example, in yoga, but yeah, morning prayer and stuff like that. So it's very, very, very classy and just good to do, I guess. Same with coming into a reading, leaving a like. That's just like, hey, I see you, thanks. Now I'm in. And also, of course, it helps the energy to stabilize, and it's just like lighting another candle. So take your candle and put it in the, put it in the frame, I want to say. And let's co-create, right? That's really a thing. And what do we have here? I want us to look at all the movement, because we are moving into, right now when I do this reading, it's timeless, of course, we are moving into the firehorse energy, and that's the firehorse energy. I did an overview read for the whole year, which is 4 hours long, and I don't really know how I will upload that, maybe in parts too, but this was mainly what I was reading. I found out it's not so much that energy, but it's more the energy of going on a big, big journey. And there's a rune for that called Rido, and that really speaks about the Vikings.